Title: They believed humans were innocuous until a baby animal lifted a fierce hunter and grinned. In the year 2476, humanity had ventured far beyond the Sol system. Starships pierced the velvet darkness of space, leaving streaks of silver light as they hunted for habitable worlds. The Exospecies Council, an intergalactic coalition of intelligent alien civilizations, watched Earth with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. Humans were considered harmless, even quaint. Their technology, though advancing, was primitive compared to the galactic standard, and their physicality, fragile, soft, and unarmed, made them appear incapable of posing any threat. The Council had long debated whether Earth should be included in the Interstellar Exchange, a vast network where planets traded knowledge, culture, and occasionally, military assets. After decades of surveillance, they agreed. Humans were more adorable than dangerous. A species that wielded tiny metal tools and communicated with melodious words could never stand up against the hulking predators and biomechanical warships that dominated the galaxy. Then the mission to Viridian 9 began. Viridian 9 was a forest planet, lush with colossal flora that towered like cathedrals of green. Its wildlife was notorious across star charts. Giant predators with limbs reinforced by chitinous plating, claws sharper than diamond alloys, and instincts so lethal that even seasoned hunters hesitated to tread its jungles. The Council sent an elite team of trackers, the Xylar Hunt Guard, to study the planet's apex predator, a creature known as the Talgrin. With 6 eyes, 2 rows of serrated teeth, and the strength to crush a hovercraft with a single swipe, the Talgrin was feared in every known system. But the Council had underestimated the unpredictability of humans. Lieutenant Zara Vel, the youngest of the Hunt Guard, led the expedition. They had set up camp in the high canopies of Viridian 9, suspended in biofiber nets that swung gently with the wind. Below, the Talgrins prowled in silence, their shadows stretching across the iridescent moss. It was during the 3rd night that they heard it, a soft, curious coo, unlike anything in their data archives. From the shadows emerged a creature so small it barely reached Zara's knee. Its fur shimmered like molten silver, and its eyes were liquid pools of curiosity. The Council had catalogued the species as the Viridian cub, a juvenile of a predator class long thought too weak to survive against the planet's apex hunters. Zara crouched, her claws extended. "It's alone. Stay alert." The cub tilted its head, sniffed the air, and then did something that no data file or holographic record had ever predicted. It lifted the largest Talgrin in the clearing, a beast that could swallow 3 humans in one bite, over its head, balancing it effortlessly. The hunter, normally the epitome of lethal grace, flailed its limbs in confusion as the cub grinned, showing tiny, perfect teeth. The Council's communications array crackled with disbelief. "Are you seeing this, Lieutenant?" boomed the voice of Admiral Hyll, transmitted through a quantum link. I don't believe it," Zara whispered. The Talgrin roared, but the cub laughed. It was a pure, resonant sound, vibrating through the air and somehow, miraculously, disarming fear itself. The Xylar Hunt Guard were stunned. Years of training and countless encounters with death could not prepare them for this sight. A tiny creature defying natural law and rewriting the rules of predator and prey. Zara's hands shook as she recorded the phenomenon. Days passed, and the cub became a fixture in the Hunt Guard's observation logs. It exhibited behaviors that confounded every established model of biology and psychology. The cub would lift entire adult predators, roll them like toys, and play games in ways that suggested a cognition far beyond instinct. And then the humans arrived. A research vessel, the Aurora's Promise, descended from the orbiting station. Captain Elias Rain led the team, unaware that their arrival would trigger a chain of events no one in the galaxy could have foreseen. The humans' small craft touched down on the planet's canopy plains, and for the first time, the cub approached creatures of a different species with unguarded curiosity. It inspected them, sniffed their suits, and, with a soft purr, mimicked a gesture it had been observed using with the Talgrins. Captain Rain extended his hand, a simple act of trust. The cub nudged it, then gently climbed onto his shoulder. It was a gesture so intimate and innocuous that even the hunt guard froze in astonishment. "Remarkable," whispered Lieutenant Zara. They communicate. Over the next weeks, the humans and the cub formed an unlikely partnership. The creature, whom the humans affectionately named Lyric, seemed to understand their intentions and responded with a mixture of playful antics and protective behavior. What had once been considered dangerous, lethal wildlife became almost a companion under Lyric's guidance. The Council could hardly process what they were witnessing. Transmissions flooded their archives, humans moving freely through predator territory, protected not by weapons or armor, but by the trust of a single juvenile creature. Predators that once stalked their every step now paused, confused by the cub's dominance. Humans, previously considered fragile, became almost untouchable, guided by Lyric's inexplicable authority. But the story was far from over. The Xylar Hunt Guard, pride wounded, attempted to capture the cub. They believed that the anomaly should be contained and studied to ensure no other humans could exploit such power. Yet every attempt ended in failure. Lyric lifted entire squads of hunters, tossing them into thick foliage like ragdolls, all while laughing, a sound that seemed to warp the perception of those who heard it, dulling their aggression. Captain Rain realized that this wasn't mere strength or luck. The cub's abilities were somehow tied to emotional resonance. It could sense fear, trust, and courage, and manipulate these forces in ways that allowed humans and itself to survive where no one else could. The Council convened an emergency session. "We misjudged them," admitted one representative, a crystalline entity from Varney's Prime. "Humans are not harmless. They are unpredictable, and they have allies we cannot control." The humans, now bonded with Lyric, explored deeper into Viridian 9. They discovered ruins of an ancient civilization, one that had long vanished but left traces of technology that interfaced with the planet's wildlife. Lyric, the cub, seemed to recognize patterns in the ruins, activating dormant systems and revealing hidden knowledge. It was as if the creature itself had been genetically or artificially engineered to guide intelligent species through this ecosystem, a guardian of sorts. By the time the Council's fleet arrived to enforce containment protocols, it was too late. Humans had not only survived, but thrived. They had mapped Viridian 9's jungles, documented its predators, and, more importantly, had earned the trust of the most feared species on the planet. Predators that once struck fear into the hearts of the galaxy now followed, respectfully, the commands of a human-cub duo. When the Council attempted direct intervention, the outcome shocked them further. Lyric approached the flagship's docking bay, lifted the largest warship in orbit, a vessel designed to obliterate entire planets, and set it gently on the forest canopy.
"No,"